Chapter 8, Part 1. At first, Astra saw no sign of pog lights or cakes. Everything was quiet. Nothing moved except a few bits of fluff tumbling about in their air currents. "Pillbeam!" Astra called softly. There was no reply. Maybe the little robot had set off for the control room alone. Maybe he was already there, sorting out the cake problem and setting the ship to rights. Or maybe he had been sucked out after her and was buried away in one of those clutter clumps outside, in which case it was up to her to go to the control room. But first, as everything seemed so quiet, she decided that she would nip back to the hibernation section C and make sure that her family was sleeping soundly. She was still half hoping that they might have woken up. How could anybody have slept through all those cakes and sirens? No cake slept to her as she made her way back along the passage, stopping now and then to check the big color-coded maps that were mounted on the walls of the intersections. Once she turned a corner and found a cupcake hanging in the air ahead of her, but it scooted off fearfully when it saw her coming, leaving a faint smell of marzipan behind it. She passed a few floating crumbs as well, but otherwise there were no sign of the cakes. No sign of pog lights either, except when some far-off footsteps and a gleeful shout of spoons came echoing down the side passage. When she reached hibernation section C, she looked for a long time through the glass portal in the door, but nothing moved in there, so she went inside. The door that led to the dining hall was shut again, so she put her ear against it and heard the faint whiz and whir of the Nomotron. She floated over the pods where Mom and Dad and Alf were sleeping. She looked at them. How she wished she could wake them. Tears came out of her eyes and wobbled off, drifting away through the hall of silent sleepers like tiny shimmering balloons. "Please return to your pod," an abrupt robotic voice behind her. "Eek!" squeaked Astra, turning. It was difficult for her to stop moving once she started, so she kept revolving, spinning there in mid-air, above her family's sleeping faces. "Stop rotating and return to your pod," ordered Bedbot. "Passengers must remain asleep for the duration of the voyage. Return to your pod and prepare for resedation." "No," said Astra, "I can't." "The emergency alarm in this compartment was activated," said Bedbot. "I am here to resedate you. Return to your pod." "That was hours ago," Astra complained. 5 hours, 31 minutes, and 7 seconds, said Bedbot fussily. "No other Bedbot was available to respond to your request. I have come all the way from hibernation section F. I was unable to reach you sooner." "Poor Bedbot," said Astra, "but you don't understand. I need to stay awake. There are these cakes and these pog lights." "My databanks do not recognize the word pog lights," said Bedbot. "Return to your pod." The lid of Astra's pod opened. It looked snugly and inviting in there. But if she climbed in and went to sleep, who would save the ship? Bedbot reached out an extendable metal arm and grabbed her by one ankle, trying to drag her toward the pod. She wriggled free. "Listen," she said. "When I pressed that button, I did want to go back to my pod. But things have changed now. My pod woke me because there's something wrong with the ship. We're infested with dangerous cakes. I have to go to the control room and restart the computer so the ship can get rid of them." But Bedbot didn't care about any of that. She hadn't been programmed to think about aliens. "Return to your pod," she said. "If you do not return to your pod, you will be forcibly resedated." She extended another arm, and this one was with a syringe full of bright liquid. Astra stared at it. "What's that?" "A harmless sleeping drug. Passengers who refuse to comply with my request must be forcibly sedated," said the robot. She made a lunge with the syringe. Astra grabbed her arm, and instead of squirting the fluid into her leg, the syringe shot it aimlessly past her, a constellation of droplets tumbling away to join her drifting tears. "I can't go to sleep," shouted Astra. "If I'm asleep, I'll be helpless like everybody else. I have to save the ship." Bedbot just said again that the passengers who refused to comply would be forcefully sedated. Anchoring herself firmly to the floor with magnets, Bedbot loaded the syringe with another dose. "Do not be alarmed," she said. "Sleep is good for you. Your dreams will be pleasant. When you awake, we will be at our destination." "But we won't," yelled Astra. "We're far off course. The ship, the pog lights, the cakes." Bedbot reached out another arm and grabbed Astra by the neck of her suit. Bedbot meant to hold her still this time while she injected her. Bedtime, she said in a chirpy, syrupy voice. Sweet dreams. Astra unzipped the pocket of the front of her spacesuit. She pulled out the disgusting-looking packed lunch that Pluto had given her. She took off the lid and flung the whole lot at Bedbot. Squirch? The sticky, writhing mess landed smack in the middle of the robot's face. It stuck there, plastered across her sensor eye. Bedbot stopped trying to inject Astra and said, I cannot see. Please remove the obstruction. Let me go, said Astra, kicking and wriggling, trying to pry the robot's metal hand off her suit collar. Bedbot put the syringe away and started trying to wipe the sticky mess off her eye. Astra unzipped her spacesuit. She kicked and wriggled her way out of it, stuffing Mammoth into her wristband yet again. And we're going to stop there for today.